All right, guys, here we go. Kate goes pro. No more phone. I hope y'all are ready. You gotta bear with me tonight, okay? Because I spent a lot of time practicing this last week, and I've heard some good things about StreamYard, and I've heard some negative things about StreamYard. So I guess we're gonna find out. Oh God, help us all. Listen, I've said if you watched me 2 years ago, I said Hillary Clinton was training Kamala Harris to be the next Hillary Clinton, but one up people of color version Hillary Clinton. Like she had one more check in the box than Hillary Clinton did. And so I have pictures of Kamala right while she was bobbing Willie Brown's knob to be Attorney General, kissing Hillary Clinton's ass at some fundraiser. Welcome to the show, guys. All right, so a couple things real quick while I see Nikki's in the chat. Nikki, now that I got all this down, I can have guests, and I'd like to talk to you personally. The email thing just sucks because it gets buried. I got to get a hold of you personally so we can set something up, because believe it or not, I have like 4 other people interested in all that. We were talking about hi blessed baby. Oh, this is gonna kill me trying to see these comments. Okay, guys, bear with me. Here we go. Kate goes pro. Anyway, let's do the screen share and give me 1 second. So it goes the back way, right? Yes. We're gonna start right here. I got a couple things we need to start out with. I'm gonna break the ice a little. I know we've all been having a rough couple days. Check out what our shithole Murdoch-owned, left liberal-leaning Fox News did to the press secretary today.
Election is not over. Far from it. We have only begun the process of obtaining an accurate...
Hold on a second. I think I have to... Hang on a second. Let me do one thing. I forgot. I got to do something really quick. I got to come back here. See, I said bear with me. I said bear with me. I forgot I got to do the audio thing. Boom. There we go. Now I got it. See? I practiced for this.
Honest vote count. We are fighting for the rights of all Americans who want to have faith and confidence, not only in this election, but in the many elections to come. There is only one party in America that opposes voter ID. One party in America that opposes verifying signatures, citizenship, residency, eligibility. There is only one party in America trying to keep observers out of the count room. And that party, my friends, is the Democrat Party. You don't take these positions because you want an honest election. You don't oppose an audit of the vote because you want an accurate count. You don't oppose our efforts at sunlight and transparency because you have nothing to hide. You take these positions because you are welcoming fraud and you are welcoming illegal voting. Our position is clear. We want to protect the franchise of the American people. We want an honest, accurate, lawful count. We want maximum sunlight. We want maximum transparency. We want every legal vote to be counted, and we want every illegal vote to be discarded. Unlike our opponents, we have nothing to hide. The integrity of our election matters. The Constitution of the United States matters. What we have seen across the country is Democrat officials systematically trying to do an end run around the Constitution to tip the scales of the election in their favor. As Justice Gorsuch wrote in DNC versus Wisconsin state legislature, our oath to uphold the Constitution is tested by hard times, not easy ones.
I'm not going to play the whole thing. You get it. She was doing an amazing speech, right? Fox cut her off. C-SPAN is the one that ran the whole speech. Fox cut her off halfway through her speech. So this is how I feel about Fox right now. Hang on, where is Do 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 do. Come on, there we go. Do do do. Not this part. This part.
No fucking leave it. The show goes down. It's a fire. They're gonna need the shit in the National Guard. The fucking SWAT team. Cause I ain't going nowhere. Fuck yeah.
Fuck that.
Right to irony. The same.
I hope you guys laughed because it sure made me laugh. I needed a laugh today. Because you know that's what they think. They think he's honestly going to just sit there and kick and scream. And yeah. So anyway, let's talk about a couple of things that are going on. Let me come back. Right. Come back here. And then I go stop screen. And here I am. Okay. Holy cow. Class Act Media. Everybody's in here today. Driving. Be careful. I did it again. It's fake. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to try that Siri thing and see if it works. My daughter's got an iPhone. Let's see. I'm a little behind. Sorry, guys. Well, come on. Let me see the new comments. There we go. Okay. Sorry. Oops. Here we go. So I go back to here. This is where things get a little tricky because I got to keep going back and forth, make sure the audio's on. Here we go. We're going to start with what I called last week when I said, if Trump wins, this is one of the three guys going first. Trump hasn't even won yet, but he knows he's going to. I'll tell you how. Check this out. Boom. Goodbye, Mark Esper. See you later. You pro-mob defense secretary, anti-Trump, DTS. He's a leaker. Okay. President Donald Trump said he has fired Secretary of Defense Mark Esper and that Christopher Miller, who serves as Director of National Counter... Oh, see. What did I do? Hold on. No, go back. Back here. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Give me a second. This is all new to me. You guys have to bear with me. I'm so sorry. Okay. Now, there it is. Do it again. I have a clicky finger, so I can't touch the mouse while I'm doing this, or else I end up somewhere I don't want to be. So anyway, bye, Secretary Mark Esper, because you are a leaky, nasty traitor piece of S who has worked with the deep state and CIA to take down Trump from the inside this entire time. Goodbye. I called that one. Go back and look at my debate live stream. I called this specific one. Okay. Next, I'm going to go to some real stuff. Here's about the election, guys. Let's get into the real deal. Okay, because the bottom line is there is... Oh, I had it twice, huh? Oh, I see. Trump has a pathway to victory and says you're about to learn a lesson in the Trump rules. First, let me predict this election is far from over. Trump will not give up nor give in. Sorry. He'll take the fight to the level no one in history of American politics has ever seen. I see a clear, reasonable pathway for Trump to overturn these results and win a stunning re-election victory that will shock the world. More on that later. This is by Wayne Allen Root, guys. It says, let's see, a bit later. I know Trump better than anyone on this planet. Let me explain why and what's about to happen. I've been studying Donald J. Trump for 40 years. It started when I was a freshman in college at Columbia University in Manhattan. Trump was 33 and already well on his way to becoming the king of New York. By the time I graduated in Columbia in 1983, Trump was opening Trump Tower, the most amazing skyscraper in the history of New York. I was hooked. Trump became my mentor, my hero, role model. Like every young businessman in New York, I wanted to be like Trump. I studied his every move. Trump was my MBA course. After a while, I knew Trump better than anyone on the planet. Soon I could predict his every move. I kept notes. Soon these notes turned into books over 300 pages long. I practiced what I preached. I took these Trump rules and I lived them. Before long, this SOB from the wrong side of the tracks, without a dime, without any connections, was living a fairy tale. In short order, I became the youngest political candidate, one of the youngest political candidates in New York State history, one of the youngest TV hosts and anchorman on American TV, a best-selling author, and soon after that, the media dubbed me the king of Vegas sports gambling. I became a self-made millionaire at 29 and bought a home on the beach in Malibu, California. I enjoyed remarkable success at a young age, multiple careers, politics, and television gambling. Sound familiar? Same careers as Donald Trump. The Trump rules changed my life. Why do I tell you all this? Well, because my latest book, Trump Rules, was released this week. It can change your life too, whether you hate or love Trump, whether Trump eventually loses his bid for president or makes the greatest comeback in world history and overturns the results of an election. No matter, either way, I'll report the same thing. Donald Trump is amazing. He's more than a person. He's a living legend. He's one of the most remarkable men to ever walk the planet, and the best is yet to come. Learning, modeling, and living the rules of his life can be life-changing for anyone in any career. Love him or hate him, we all have something to learn. We all have something to gain from these Trump rules. Here we go, guys. Ready? Yeah, I needed that one. Now, to the main event, the election. Timing is not everything. In life, it's the only thing. My timing is perfect. After studying Trump my entire adult life and always predicting correctly what comes next, here is my opinion on the presidential election results. We're all about to get a lesson in Trump rules. Take notes. If you believe Biden has already won, you don't know Trump like I know Trump. Democrats and the media picked a fight with the wrong guy. They underestimated the wrong guy. They stole an election from the wrong guy. Trump isn't John McCain or Mitt Romney or Jeb Bush. Trump won't go down without the most vicious fight in the history of politics. Sure, the media claims this election is over. Trust me, it's not. It's just getting started. Trump is the underdog, but I believe there is a reasonable chance Trump comes out ahead. Trump never gives up or gives in. He is relentless and unstoppable. You're about to witness the greatest fight in world history. This will make Ali versus Foreman look like an amateur exhibition. Trump loves coming back from the dead. He considers it the ultimate challenge. Trump is the roadrunner versus Wile E. Coyote. Beep, beep, no matter how bad it looks, never bet against Trump. I see a clear path to victory, and I know Trump sees it too. With Alaska in the bag, Trump has 217 electoral votes. With North Carolina in his column within days, Trump will be at 232. There are many paths to flipping either Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, or Wisconsin. Like any combination of those two puts Trump at 259. I believe the Supreme Court has tipped its hand. They will absolutely rule any mail-in ballots received after 8 p.m. on Election Day are invalid and must be thrown out. They've already let that out by doing that in Pennsylvania, telling them to put them to the side, guys. Justice Alito has already stepped in on this, and once that the other justices are going to go along with that, and I'm telling you, any ballots, any state that decided that they were going to use COVID-19 to change their local laws to extend the amount of time people could get their ballots in or fix their ballots, that is going out the window. Those ballots will be void. That gives Pennsylvania to Trump. That puts Trump at 279. Voila, Trump is president again. Trust me, I know Trump like no one knows Trump. The election battle for the ages is not over, it's just getting started. Trump is amazing, remarkable, superhuman. He lives his life to make the impossible possible. Never bet against Trump. This guy is, you know him. He's been on a lot of news channels, guys. The guy that wrote this, he's always talking about, like, he wrote all the books about how Trump got to be where he is he wrote them by following the guy around, taking notes. So it says, we're all about to get a priceless lesson in Trump rules. P.S. If Trump does eventually lose, he'll turn that into a win too. He'll start a conservative television network, destroy Fox News, and build another multi-billion-dollar brand. And then he'll run again in 2024. And he'll defeat Kamala Harris, becoming the only president in history to run again and win. Wayne Allen Root is the guy that wrote this, is known as the conservative warrior. He's a best-selling conservative author and the host of a nationally syndicated radio talk show. So there you go. That's who wrote that article, guys. Oops, let's go back here. Okay, now I can see the chat again. Let me see what's going on over in the chat. Come on. Oh yeah, come on. Yeah, he needs 4 states. I don't know. We don't know. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just saying right now, when I show you the amount of ballots that are at play, I think you might think differently. There's a lot of ballots that are popping. I mean, I'm not talking a couple hundred, y'all. I'm talking in the hundreds of thousands. All right, let's start here. 132,000 ballots in Fulton County, Georgia, which have been identified, which are likely ineligible. Here we go, guys. And now tell me there's not even 1,000 votes between these two, and there's 100 and some thousand votes that are going to be marked ineligible. Here we go, Kyle Becker. 132,000 change of address red flags in Fulton County. These votes are highly likely ineligible to vote and have moved, per source. Biden leads Georgia by 10,000 votes as of the last update. It's enough to be a game changer. Oh, I did it again. Hold on. Sorry. And now look at the bottom. They got to put this down here. This claim about election fraud is disputed. You guys, this is just so ridiculous that Twitter is allowed to continue to lie and put these stupid warnings on everything like we're retards and we can't decide for ourselves whether what we're reading is true or false. Anyhow, here's 132,000 ballots that are at question. If these ballots are deemed ineligible, Georgia is almost certainly won by Trump, and this is before the illegal vote harvesting in recent days is addressed. Guys, the lawsuits started to come out today. If you haven't looked at them yet, I'm going to address a few of them today. I'm going to hop back and forth. I'm going to play a video in a minute addressing it. Here, we're going to go back here. Hi, guys. I'm figuring this all out. Twitter is so annoying. I don't even use Twitter. I hate Twitter. I can't. It makes me sick every time I see one of them stupid little things. They're all attached to my tweets too. Okay, so this is where I'm going to get to. Hang on a second. See, it puts it up here backwards, so I have to look. Here we go. Here's the 450,000. Sidney Powell. Who all remembers Sidney Powell? Sidney Powell is Michael Flynn's lawyer. Okay. Sidney Powell is Michael Flynn's lawyer, and she is also an ex-CIA lawyer, and she has just exposed. Anyway, she's basically uncovered all kinds of unscrupulous, nefarious behavior going on in the bowels of our government. However, she's also got herself in some of these involved in some. I think she's on the Trump team, like the legal team. Sorry, needed a drink. Canadian company. Now listen, guys, very important. Okay? Very important. So important that you know these names and these, how do I put this? They're just, they have a history, okay? Dominion Voting Systems has a history, okay? It's come under intense scrutiny following allegations made by attorney Sidney Powell that Democrats have used their electronic voting technology to steal the presidential election. Powell, a former federal prosecutor, has become well known for exposing the plot against her client, General Michael Flynn, by top Obama administration officials. Currently, she's a member of Trump's president's legal team. In an appearance this morning, Powell said, does it have the video so I can just play the video? Yes, here we go.
Walk us through what has taken place here as you see it.
Yes, there has been a massive and coordinated effort to steal this election from we, the people of the United States of America, to delegitimize and destroy votes for Donald Trump, to manufacture votes for Joe Biden. They have done it in every way imaginable, from having dead people vote in massive numbers to absolutely fraudulently creating ballots that exist only voting for Biden. We've identified
From
at least
China.
450,000 ballots in the key states that miraculously only have a mark for Joe Biden on them and no other candidate. If you look at Florida, where things were done right, you can see that that's how the rest of the country should have gone. But they also used an algorithm to calculate the votes they would need to flip. And they used the computers to flip those votes from from Trump to Biden, and from other Republican candidates to their competitors also. I think Doug Collins had the race stolen from him. I think John James had his race stolen from him. It wasn't just President Trump. There were many people affected by this. We have got to fight tooth and nail in federal court to expose this abject fraud and the conspiracy behind it, and get a recount and audits in every place it's needed, which is frankly most of the country.
Y'all hear that? They're not playing, okay? I'm just letting you know. Biden can everything that's going on right now with Biden it's all. Hang on, I want this article puts it so perfectly. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. U.S. elections. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Oh, so it's still sharing Bongino. So I have to go back here, and I have to go to here, and then I have to go to here again. That's crazy. Then I have to go to here again, and then that's a lot, you guys. Hold on a minute. I'm very sorry. Right here it is. Okay. Now you should be seeing it. Okay, there you go. There we go. There we go. Let me just come back to here and see if I can see it. There, okay. Now I can see it. Good deal. I don't like that one. Why is it like that? There we go. That's better. Okay. Anyway, I wanted to it. Greg Kelly from Newsmax. Everything you're seeing tonight is an illusion. Even the president-elect is an illusion. Greg Kelly joined Robert Schmidt on Newsmax TV. Now, Greg Kelly is, I don't remember if he was, hang on. Yeah, he's from Newsmax. Okay, so anyway, he joined Robert Schmidt on Newsmax Saturday night. And this is what I feel like, guys. This is exactly how I feel. And I want everybody to understand. He said Fox News has lost all its legitimacy. Fox News was founded on alternative to mainstream. Now it appears Fox is more concerned about what New York Times writes about them than what the audience thinks. Everything you're seeing tonight is an illusion. There is no president-elect. Even the term president-elect is a media fabrication. We don't have a president-elect until the electors come and they nominate a president-elect. That happens sometime next month. This is still a dispute. Constitutionally, though, nothing significant has happened, it says. I mean, nothing's okay. So here we go.
Is going to keep the show going, but we hear that she was suspended for this weekend and they pulled the show off the air. Joining us now to talk about this is the host of Greg Kelly Reports right here on Newsmax TV. Greg, great to see you tonight. First of all, just get your reaction to the Jeanine Pirro story.
I hope she quit because I would applaud that. Fox News has lost, in my opinion, all legitimacy. Fox News was founded as an alternative to the mainstream media. The idea that the center of the country is not Manhattan, the center of the country is not the Beltway, the center of the country is the country. It was founded and started by Roger Ailes and Rupert Murdoch with that understanding. And now it appears to me that Fox News is more concerned with what the New York Times writes about them than what the audience thinks about them. They have lost their audience. They have lost their way. And fortunately, I hope they'll come over to us because there is a major thread that's not being discussed widely. Everything you're seeing tonight is an illusion. There is no president-elect. Even the term president-elect used right now is a media fabrication. We don't have a president-elect until the electors come and actually elect the president, and that happens sometimes next month. We don't have one. This is still in dispute. The point was raised earlier that, well, there's no concession, but a concession doesn't mean anything.
I don't hold
No, a
grudges
concession actually, from a media standpoint, means a great deal. Constitutionally, though, nothing significant has actually happened. I believe overall, Rob, this is yet a third coup attempt.
Amen.
We had Russia, we had the
We're going to talk
impeachment,
about that.
and now
right
we have this nonsense, which is so incredibly dishonest. I just urge all.
We're going to talk about this right now. What he just said is right on. Okay. Come on, close. Oh, let me just do that. Is it going to show up there? Come back here. Okay. Now, there's a lot of things that make me think about this is a coup, but I was paying attention to some, we'll get to that in a minute. This is what I want you to understand. What that lady just said, that Sidney Powell lady, she didn't go into the actual software that was used to steal this election, guys, but you have to understand they have evidence of this. Check it out. Sidney Powell is not some clickbaiting queen, it says. She announced there is evidence the CIA tools were used to alter election counts on software systems in swing states. Guys, this is not like just, some National Enquirer thing. This is a legit thing. The lady that you just saw on Maria Bartiromo, she is CIA. She knows CIA tech and tools and was able to, as an intelligence lawyer, that's who she's a lawyer for Michael Flynn now. She announced they have evidence that this tool was used in conjunction with the hammer to rig the election. The tool is called Scorecard. It has the power to alter voting machine numbers. Let's check it out. She says, last week, CBD posted a story about how Democrats were conspiring with rogue agents in CIA in order to utilize a tool called Scorecard. Guys, they were talking about stealing this election back in July, just so you're aware. They knew they were going to steal this election many times over. Scorecard, smoking gun, media damage control as 150,000 Michigan voters only cast ballot for Biden. Boom. Those are going to be gone. Bye-bye. Media mess up. Real-time feed shows Scorecard switching 19,000 votes from Trump to Biden, guys. This is going on in the evidence. Scorecard. And everybody keeps asking me, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? I'm showing you the evidence. Watch. Evidence, it says. CIA Scorecard used to alter election counting machines. She is not some clickbaiting queen. They're actually going to show you how it happened. They're going to show you an example of the entire thing. So, here. Am I on it? Yeah, I'm on it. Okay. Here we go. Listen to how exactly.
Well, joining us now, Tom Fitton. He's the president of Judicial Watch. Sidney Powell, General Michael Flynn's defense attorney, former federal prosecutor, best-selling author.
Listen to
I want to say, first of all, thank you both for being here and appreciate it. Sidney, let's start with
Trump has
this
a good
election
case,
process.
you guys.
We just heard from John Solomon that the FBI indeed is being diligent, is involved, and we all hope he is exactly right. Your thoughts first about the knowledge now that the Justice Department is involved in this review of the election.
Well, I'm delighted to hear that. I think there are any number of things they need to investigate, including the likelihood that 3% of the vote total was changed in the pre-election voting ballots that were collected digitally by using the Hammer program and a software program called Scorecard. That would have amounted to a massive change in the vote that would have gone across the country and explains a lot of what we're seeing. In addition, they ran an algorithm to calculate votes they might need to come up with for Mr. Biden in specific areas. I think that explains what happened in Michigan, where the computer glitch resulted in a change of votes of about 5,500 in favor of President Trump, just in one of 47 districts. All those districts need to be checked for that same, quote, software glitch, end quote, that would change the result in Michigan dramatically. The same thing is happening in other states. We've had hundreds of thousands of ballots mysteriously appear solely for Mr. Biden, which is statistically impossible as a matter of mathematics. It can all be documented. We are putting it into materials that we will file in federal court, and we need to seek relief in multiple states to enjoin the certification of any election results.
Tom Fitton, as you listen
please, it worked.
to Sydney, that
You
sounds
have a
like
good night at work,
a
Clay.
strong case for a straightforward allegation of
No,
fraud.
this isn't a Trump
The two
inspired channel
programs
at
that
all.
she just mentioned, I'm going to ask you right now,
Hang on
have
a
you ever
second.
heard of them? Because I had not heard of them.
No, I mean, there've been noises about it on the internet, but I don't know anything beyond what Sydney's reporting now. I go back to the numbers you reported at the beginning of the segment. The president was winning on Tuesday.
Right.
He's not winning now. And he's not winning now as a result of a process that the voters
Shit.
can't have confidence in, the state legislatures can't have confidence in, and
Where
my view,
is
the
the
courts
sound
can't have
coming
confidence
from?
in. So the question is, are the courts going to undo what went on? I don't know. But the state legislatures in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, perhaps Arizona, they now have an
There it is.
opportunity
Gotcha.
to make us.
Boom. I had to find it. It was a little microphone. It was so small. Okay, so. Somebody had up here concede. Where did it go? I want to see who it was. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. They didn't concede. Nobody else has ever conceded before. Hillary Clinton wouldn't concede. She was waiting for somebody to assassinate Obama, she said, before she conceded. So don't give me no shit about concede. This man's got to fight still. So listen, I got some really important stuff now. I want to get to I believe this is another coup, guys. And I think we can prove it. I think they've already proven it between the CIA stuff that I just told you that's going on. They've already discovered all that. Dems colluded with the CIA. Yep. Alter. Yep. Hold on a minute. So they filed the suit in Pennsylvania. That's what I'm looking at right there. But I wanted to look at. See the. There it is. Got it. So let's talk about telltale signs. Okay, telltale. This is not new. This is from 2016, guys. Because guess what? Because America has very strict standards on foreign elections. We won't consider a foreigner's election valid unless unless we consider all these things not having taken place. Okay. So let me just double check and make sure I'm not making. Yep. Okay. So this is BBC, obviously. It's not going to come from an American site. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Let's see here. I probably shouldn't have done that because now I've got to figure out how to get back to that one. There it is. Too many voters, first of all. How many reports have we seen now of more than 100% participation? First of all, let me explain Australia right here. Watch the turnout figures. They can be a big giveaway. You never get a 98 or 99% turnout in an honest election. You just don't. Voting is compulsory, meaning it's supposed to be like you have to vote. It's your duty in Australia, right? But it's not enforced. Or no, that's in Gabon. Sorry. Australia, where it is enforced, you can get a fine of $175 for not voting. You can vote online, you can vote in person. Guess what? Even with that, it only reaches 90 to 95%, meaning even with it being a fine, almost still 5% of people choose to take the fine and then vote. The main reason that a full turnout is practically impossible is that the electoral registers, even if they are recently compiled, can rarely be 100% up to date. We know they're not, guys. People have showed up on these registers that are dead. So they're not up to date. One guy was his dead cat from 10 years ago. Even if no one gets sick or has to travel, people still die. So when a register is updated, new voters are keen to add themselves to the list. No one, however, has great enthusiasm for removing the names of those who have died, and over the number of these non-existent voters increases. Once I reported on an election in the Niger Delta where some areas had a turnout of 120%. They're very healthy people around here and very civic-minded, a local official assured me. But a turnout of more than 100% in an area or an individual polling station is a major red flag and a reason to cancel that result and rerun that election. Next. And it even says like high turnout in specific areas, right? Even where the turnout is within the bounds of possibility. If the figure is wildly different from the turnouts elsewhere, it serves as a warning. Why would one area or one individual polling station have 90% turnout when most have less than 70? Something strange is almost certainly going on, especially if the high turnout is in an area which favors one particular candidate over another. Well, I don't have to tell you, the math's been done. All of the situations where suspicion has been pointed in election tampering and funny business, as they like to call it, has all gone in the favor of the Democrats and against the Republicans. Large numbers of invalid votes, therefore more subtle ways that riggers can increase votes or reduce them. Keep an eye on the number of votes excluded as invalid. Even in countries with low literacy rates, this isn't normally above 5%. High numbers of invalid votes mean that officials are disqualifying ballots for the slightest imperfection or even when the voter's intention is perfectly clear in an attempt to depress votes for their opponents. More votes than paper ballots issued. That's kind of a big deal. Did you know we have some states that don't have a requirement to have a paper ballot backup? Yeah, that's pretty scary. Anyway, by the way, heads up, guys, Parler just overtook and is now the #1 app, guys. Parler has taken over Facebook and Twitter, and Rumble is at #6. Alternative media is taking over. We are very soon not going to need YouTube or Facebook or any of the rest of them. So, after they counted how many ballots, when polls close and before they open the boxes, election officials normally have to go through a complicated, tedious process known as the reconciliation of ballots. As they have counted how many ballot papers they received in the morning, they then need to count how many are left and how many, if any, were torn or spoiled and had to be put aside. The result will tell them how many papers should be in the box. It should also match the number of names checked off on the register. The first task when the box is open is to count the number of papers inside. This is done prior to counting the votes for different candidates. If there is a discrepancy, something is wrong. If there are more papers in the box than there was issued by the polling staff, it is likely someone has been doing stuffing. That is a good enough reason to cancel the result and arrange a rerun. Results that don't match. Mobile phones have made elections much more transparent. It is now standard practice to allow party agents, observers, and sometimes even voters to watch the counting process and take photos of the result sheets with their phones. If they have proof of the genuine results from their area, just in case the ones announced later in the Electoral Commission don't match. It has clearly taken crooked politicians some time to catch up with the fact that people will know if they change the results. Apparently, they still haven't figured that out. The same thing happened in Southeast Togo. A local party representative told me they witnessed the count in 2005, endorsed the result, and then they saw the official in charge leave for the capital, taking the signed result sheet with him. Yet, the results announced later on the radio were different. The same thing happened in the Katanga province of the DR in Congo in 2011. Results announced on the radio were not the same as those international observers saw posted outside polling stations. But the transparency only works if the official announcement of the results includes figures for individual counting centers, and this has become an issue in the current Gabonese election. Delay in announcing results. Finally, something is not necessarily a sign of rigging, but it's not a sign of rigging, but it's often assumed to be. Election commissioners, particularly in Africa, can appear to take an inordinately long time to publish official results. Guys, this is a place where they absolutely abused this part. delay in announcing results. They did this in a way to not only discourage Trump voters, which I don't think it did. I don't think not one voter got discouraged, no matter what the news was saying. We all knew better, but they tried. And it also was done in total way of suppression, but also as a way to make it look as if Joe Biden was. It gave them enough time to figure out how many votes they needed to catch up. Is what it was. They would delay the announcement and delay the count. They went, one county says we're done counting at 8 o'clock. So the Republicans leave, the Democrats stay there and count in secret all night. Are you kidding me? This is not held by local observer networks and political parties who tally up the results sent by their agents on mobile phones, have a good idea of the result long before the cumbersome official process is completed. But the official process takes time, especially in countries with poor communication, and the introduction of modern electronic transmission has not necessarily helped. Where these systems have proved too demanding for the context, as in Malawi, they can actually increase delays as staff struggle to make technology work. Delay is certainly dangerous, fueling rumors of results being massaged. That's what they like to call this, guys. Massage the results before release and increasing tensions. But this is not incontrovertible proof of election rigging. We all know. So these are things that they say to look out for. Just look out for. Sounds like I've seen it all, everyone that they just mentioned in this race. So I'm going to get rid of that, and then I'm going to come back here. Okay. What's that now? Why is that up there? Oh, okay, that's that other thing. Yes, Nikki, they were losing votes at the same time. That's what I was trying to tell earlier on in here. Oh, Angel, don't get me going. I'm going to put that up on the screen. Oh, no, I better not. That's hilarious. No, she wasn't. Wait. I love you guys. All right, let me do this. All right, so now, ouch, I just hurt myself. This is another way we know there's fraud, you guys, okay? So pay attention, because here's another proof for those of you who come afterwards. Don't watch my live. Talk shit on my live about, or in my comments to my people about this being a Trump supporting channel. That's not what this is. I'm giving you evidence. I'm giving you the evidence that you wanted. Why are you here if you're not here to see the evidence? You're just here because deep down, you know that this little celebration of yours is only for a few days. And then again, like the title says, I'm going to watch you cry again. Okay, proof of fraud. Another proof of fraud is this. Republicans have won 28 out of 29 most competitive House seats. They also added 3 state legislators. They added, I think, 3 more to this. Is that the Senate? No, yeah, the Senate. They added like a bunch of senators. Literally, they only lost a couple races, but they wiped out the Dems. Wiped them out. Wiped out the Dems. But guess what? That means that just like that one said, 450,000 people went in and voted for Joe Biden, but didn't vote for anybody past him. You and I both know that as hot and as raging angry as people were to vote in this election, nobody went in that voting booth and just voted for a president. They either voted blue straight down or red straight down, because that's how serious this vote was. And it's a sign of fraud. Before the election, the fake news. Hang on, is there a video? I'll let her tell you. Hang on a minute. Is there a video to it? Because I don't want to mess it up. There is a video. Here we go. Boom.
Welcome back. Big victories in the 2020 congressional races, with early numbers showing that the GOP gained at least 4 million new voters, with President Trump receiving more non-white votes than any Republican candidate in 60 years. House Republicans are also expecting up to 13 new seats, with victories for incoming women, veterans, minorities. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy joins me right now. And Congressman, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us. And this morning we are learning of another victory. Darrell Issa in California's 50th District, winning his race. Assess the situation for us. And before that, maybe you want to comment on what you just heard from Rudy Giuliani in terms of this active litigation that is to come, with lawsuits dropping tomorrow, Congressman.
But what we need in the presidential race is to make sure every legal vote is counted, every recount is completed, and every legal challenge should be heard. Then and only then that America will decide who won the race. Remember, Maria, we are less than 21,000 votes away where the House we could win the majority. There are a number of seats, 10 seats that are still sitting out there. Republicans are leading in 3. They haven't called any of those. So why would you call the presidential race first? Remember the framework. I was on your show just the Sunday before the election. They said in the House, Republicans would lose 15 to 20 seats. Every pollster said that. Speaker Pelosi and Steny Hoyer. They also said we would lose the Senate and we would lose legislatures as well. What happened? We didn't lose one incumbent. We won every seat except one open. We won 28 of the 29 most competitive seats that Nate Silver laid out there. We are gaining in less than 21,000 votes away. We didn't lose the Senate. We didn't lose one control of any legislature. Actually, Republicans gained 3 new legislatures of control of. And we've had the most competitive presidential race in our modern history. That's why every vote should be counted, every recount to go forward, and every challenge should be heard. Because it is still good to keep going on these congressional seats, carrying them out. I think we should actually do that as well for the highest office in the land.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, I think you make a really good point, particularly after the media has taken us down many rabbit holes before. Russia collusion, obstruction, an impeachment trial based on no crime, and then a Democratic, and now, of course, this. Let me ask you about Nancy Pelosi. She has sent a letter out to members asking for their support. She wants to get reelected as Speaker of the House. What does that mean for you, and will she stay?
Okay, we're not going to watch all that, but you got it. You guys, there was no way that all those votes were put out for Joe Biden, but then that ended up for, that didn't go down. It didn't continue on down ballot afterwards. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, so come on. Okay, back here. Guys, stop, please. I hate my chat has never been negative. Please. This is not even on election night, debate night. I have a liberal vegan. Oh, look at you can see my bedding's off. It's in the washer. I'm sorry. I would never ever. Oh, see what happens when I don't. I try to be professional and I have no bedding on. Wonderful. Anyway, please don't fight in the comments. I love you all, and I want everyone to feel welcome here. Everyone has the right to their own opinion. You do not have the right to attack people for their opinion, and you don't have to accept their opinion. You're allowed to just speak your mind in here, but without attacking anybody. There's no reason for that. There was a time where I could like the 49ers and you like the Bills and shit was good. Why can't we be like that today? What happened? What happened to where, why is Donald Trump such a threat to people? I don't understand it. Tara, I love you. I gotta stop. You're gonna get me in trouble. All right, I gotta go. How do I hide my face? Okay, hang on, guys. I got some more good stuff. Okay. So, start at the bottom here. Again, there are facts in the front. The other thing is I want you guys to understand that the stock market, the only place the stock market has gone up since this whole predictive President-elect Joe Biden thing is in Asia. That should tell you something automatically. I want to go here because we have a lot of videos I saved that I think are important. Boom. Okay. So this is what I would say the majority of, this was the day that Joe tried to, it's like they tried to undercut. Listen, you guys have to understand the timing of this, okay? The timing of this is Rudy Giuliani schedules this presser. 8 minutes before this presser, Joe Biden announces, or AP and all the news stations announced that Joe Biden is the president-elect, okay? Literally 3 minutes before he goes live. He doesn't even know it. They're announcing that he's president-elect. Okay.
First part of a situation that is extremely troubling. First of all, for the state of Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and then for a number of other states.
For those who want evidence, here it is. Listen good.
Will be brought starting on Monday.
People who, yeah.
But the first time it was discovered was here in Pennsylvania just a couple of days ago. The people you see behind me are just a few of about, I'd say 50 to 60 poll watchers who will all testify that they were uniformly,
Flying over.
that they were uniformly deprived of their right to inspect any single part of the mail-in ballots. As you know, from the very beginning, the mail-in ballots were a source of some degree of skepticism, if not a lot of skepticism, as being innately prone to fraud. The New York Times had written that 10 years ago under other circumstances, but of course changed their mind once it was a situation involving President Trump. Congresswoman Jordan, in her vast and compendious review of various forms of voter fraud, cited mail-in ballots as the most prone to fraud.
Yes.
With all that, you would have expected there'd be a high degree of security and a high degree of inspection that would be provided for mail-in ballots. Instead, in the wisdom of the officials, Democrat officials here in the city that's been Democrat for 60 years and has a very long history of voter fraud, documented history of voter fraud.
Wait till you hear some of this voter fraud.
Instead of going to a high degree of care to allow inspections of the mail-in ballots, there was no inspection of a single mail-in ballot. Those mail-in ballots could have been for anybody.
From China.
Those mail-in ballots could have been for
Printer China.
anybody they wrote in. Those mail-in ballots could have been written the day before by the Democratic Party hacks that were all over the convention center. What I'm saying to you is not a single one was inspected as the law required. Even when a court order was obtained to allow the Republican inspectors to get 6 feet closer, they moved the people counting the ballots 6 further feet away. It's really simple. If you have nothing to hide with these mail-in ballots, you allow inspection.
Amen.
I mean, this is common knowledge, common practice in the examination of absentee ballots, which happens all the time. You take out the absentee ballot, you open it up, the Republican looks at it, the Democrat looks at it. If nobody objects, you put it in the pile. If either objects, you put it aside. That's what's done for absentee ballots, which have the extra security of having signatures you can match. Here, which a much more insecure method of voting, no Republican got a chance to look at that ballot.
No.
Some of the ballots you will see look suspicious. From very far away, they look like same pen, possibly same handwriting. We can't say that because we never got to see it. And now you're also going to find that way across on the other side of the state, there is a similar situation in Pittsburgh involving 300,000 ballots that were uninspected, unreviewed, not observed by a single Republican. Not a single one. Got to be a pattern. As a friend of mine says, I don't believe in conspiracies,
It's only in the
but I
swing
also
states.
don't believe in coincidences. Kind of funny that all Republicans were rejected here and all Republicans were rejected in Pittsburgh, and it amounts to about, just about the 700,000 votes that President Trump was ahead by 2 days ago that disappeared.
I love Giuliani because
And we have
he
no
breaks
way of
it down for
knowing
the dumb ones.
because we were deprived of the right to inspect if a single one of those ballots is legitimate.
Amen.
That is unheard of. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional.
And you know what's important, guys, is if he gets Pennsylvania, it's a wrap. Okay. And he's going to get Pennsylvania because this Supreme Court has already tipped its hat to Pennsylvania and said, we don't like what you're pulling. You're going rogue. You're going rogue after we already made it clear you may not accept any ballots after 8 p.m. on the mail-in ballots after 8 p.m. on election night. And they decided they were going to change all their policies themselves. I think they decided that right after that war game stuff that I was telling you about in our last live. I believe after they war gamed everything through and they figured out all of the outcomes, as those outcomes started to play into the actual outcome of what was happening in real life, they decided that was obviously, they could pick exactly what plan they were going to follow from there. And this is the plan.
And we will be bringing an action challenging that. And I emphasize to you, it's only one of the many other infirmities in this election. I know this city has a sad history of voter fraud. After all, Joe Frazier is still voting here.
Listen to this.
Kind of hard since he died 5 years ago. But Joe continues to vote. If I recall correctly, Joe was a Republican. So maybe I shouldn't complain. But we should go see if Joe is voting Republican or Democrat now from the grave.
Are you kidding
also,
me?
Will Smith's father has voted here twice since he died. I don't know how he votes because he's voted secret. In Philadelphia, they keep the votes of dead people secret. At least that is something that you can be commended for. I'm not attacking the people of Philadelphia. I'm attacking your decrepit democratic machine, which has a lot of other reasons to be attacked. It's been around for 65 years.
Be safe,
We keep electing the same people. The city gets no better. The crime goes way through the roof. The riots you have, police stand by and watch it. Not because of the police, because you have a mayor that lets them stand by and watch it. You got a district attorney that lets people go free. You are poorly served, ladies and gentlemen of Philadelphia. And then you got a political machine. Mayors who let riots take place. District attorneys who set criminals free. I don't think they're going to care much about ballot fraud. This is outrageous. An enormously important contest with a very, very suspect method of voting. There was no security. Zero. The people of this city, people of this country have no assurance at all that those ballots were actually cast. They would have to have been almost unanimously cast to Joe Biden in order to catch up. And let me have one or two of the people. Let me emphasize, this is only 2 or 3 of about 50 people so far that have given us statements, affidavits, recordings. We're going to have many witnesses. You're not a small case. It could be a big case.
You might not have got a notification because I'm using StreamYard. It's not my fault.
Because we also have to alert the people of Pittsburgh that the same fraud was done to them as here. And I'll also add, same thing was done in Georgia. The same thing was done in Michigan.
I'm going to put that up. So
the same thing was done in North Carolina. Seems to me somebody from the Democratic National Committee sent out a little note that said, don't let the Republicans look at those mail-in ballots. At least not in the big Democratic hack cities that we control. We've done a lot to destroy those cities. Now we're going to destroy their right to vote.
Okay. So next, hang on a minute. There's another. That now that you understand what went on in Pennsylvania, this is where we really. This is Victor Davis Hanson. He is so important. Hold on a minute, because he is going to tell you to calm down, to take a deep breath.
The eyes of the world.
I believe because Australia is very scared right now. Australia does not want a Kamala Harris.
Can you give us a feel for how you're
and I want to show you that
this momentous event.
Well, very briefly, I think there's three things that your countrymen should understand. I can help enlighten them. I don't know if I can or not, but Donald Trump was supposed to be wiped out. In individual states, on the eve of the election, he was supposed to be 17 down in states that are dead even.
Listen.
He was supposed to lose the national vote.
That goes along with the polls and what the media was telling us.
Down by one. 380 electoral college landslides.
I had to keep pausing it in the middle of it anyway, but I want you guys to understand something. Remember the war games. I just went over this with you guys. Remember the war games, because They war gamed this, and they had this war game came out. The way they pulled this off with combining all of the people who were running in the primary and getting them all to give their votes and their people to Biden and hide him in the basement, and everything that they've done up to this point has already been played out. They already have their next move planned. Okay. But what messed it up was us. We messed it up. We showed up on election day like they never, ever, ever thought could happen. We screwed it up. So they had a backup plan that was a shabby ass backup plan that's going to get them caught. Mark my words.
Fight for Joe Biden. It's going to be very close to 270 or 280 victory if he wins. So the polls are confounded. The problem we're having is that there's anomalies that no one can explain. So why is the Nevada vote still going on when next door Utah, which had him a clear winner, was over election night? Why is Michigan going on when its neighbor to the south, Ohio, finished with a Trump victory election night? Why is Wisconsin's vote just settled, but it took 2 days, whereas Iowa next door. Why is Georgia going on, but Alabama's not? The reason his supporters are angry in all of the states that I'm mentioning that are out.
Let me try something else. Hold on a second.
They all had Trump leads, or he was dead even in Nevada, and they're taking a long time to tally the votes in a way that no other states are doing, and his lead keeps going down. We're talking about 400,000 vote lead in Pennsylvania, or 200,000 in Wisconsin, and they're all blue states, and the votes are all coming in from big cities to overwhelm the rural small towns pro-Trump. So people are suggesting, why is it in the year 2020 that we have record turnouts of 88% of registered voters? We've never had that in the history of the United States. And why are they all in these cities? And why are these cities all delaying their voting of their states? And so that's where we are. As far as the official, the way our system works, each Secretary of State of the 50 states has to certify that the
gets in. We're in a lot more trouble than we're in right now.
Therefore, those
Yes.
validations then instruct electors from their state to meet in about 60 days to vote in the electoral college, and they have to represent the plurality of votes in their state. And there's about 5 lawsuits based on the premise that the U.S. Constitution says how people vote in an individual state is determined by the state legislature.
Thank you.
But in all of these states that are under contention, in the last 20 days, state governors, electoral boards, registrars have added to or subtracted to the law. They felt that COVID meant that they could extend the days that you were eligible to vote, or they said it doesn't have to be postmarked in the extreme. That's the way the law. And so the Trump forces are arguing that any that went beyond what their legislature had prescribed, all those ballots are invalid. That I think is legally cogent,
Yes,
to
Angel, that's
invalidate
exactly how I vote.
that many votes
Policy.
would overturn the election as it's going now. And then finally, the reason that people are upset, I think, is that they are bombarded with a series of events that they can't process. In 2000, 20 years ago, there was one state, Florida, that was held up, and people said, this shall never happen again. Now we have 5 Floridas.
Yes.
2016, they said
5
the
Floridas.
pollsters are not
It took
posted.
47 days with Florida.
Their vote
There are 5
suppression.
Floridas going on.
They come out with these wild leads that they won't show us the data by which they read, and I'm talking about Reuters, Politico, ABC, moment, and they cannot be right. And then when election day came around, they were all discredited at the state level, way off, and Trump won. And people said to them, "You were trying to suppress the Trump donations vote, get out the vote operations, and you probably succeeded." And that's a gift to the Hillary Clinton campaign. And they said, "We're never going to do this again. We've learned that we won't do this. We'll not be reluctant." And they did it again.
And I actually have that article he's talking about. It's a New York Times article. Right here. Here we go. Check this out, guys. I'm going to share this with you. I got to go back here. I got to come back here. Rose, really quick. Hold on. Stop screen, share screen. Up here. Oh, yeah. I'm getting it. Hold on. Boom. So look what they said 20 years ago. Right here. Oh, my heater is really loud. The 2000 election, New York Times said, the network predictions, media need to rethink an urge to say who's first. Literally, guys, it's an entire article about how like they realized how calling the race and being first was their biggest problem because it caused so much confusion and upset across the country, blah, 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 blah. Now, but they said, we'll never do that. We'll never make that mistake again. Well, they said the same thing in 2016 about a lot of things, and apparently that doesn't matter either. So let me just come back to here. Oops, wrong one. Oh, your grandma voted. Yo, when I was at the polls, there was this old couple that had to be in their 90s there. It made me so proud to be an American, like to see them. And then everything happened right after that. They were right there when basically everything happened. So, you guys, we're going to talk a little bit about that little AOC thing in a minute here, okay? Because, first, I want to show you this last thing. Michigan, guys. Michigan is also a big deal. We need two, but I'm pretty sure we'd have. Anyway, my point is Michigan legislature is held a rare emergency session to investigate possible election irregularities. Okay. Detroit Free Press reported that Michigan held a joint hearing of the House and Senate overnight Saturday, issued a subpoena to the state election officials requesting documents related to Michigan's election process in investigating possible election irregularities. And it goes on to say the Michigan governor, Gretchen Whitmer, is a Democrat. Both state and House Senate are controlled by Republicans. A point the author emphasizes several times. It goes on to say every single vote, every single vote needs to be counted regardless of who cast it or who they voted for. And then the candidate who wins most of these votes will win Michigan's electoral vote, just like it's always been. Nothing about that process will change in 2020. America's democracy is sacred, safe, and secure. Elections are how we protect it, blah, blah, blah. It goes on. Bottom line is here's a subpoena, and they want to know everything that went down. Here we go. Ready?
If all this wasn't enough, in Antrim County, ballots were counted for Democrats that were meant for Republicans, causing a 6,000 vote swing against our candidates. The county clerk came forward and said tabulating software glitched and caused a miscalculation of the votes. Since then, we have now discovered that 47 counties use this same software in the same capacity. Antrim County had to hand count.
Okay, and on top of that, Giuliani said they've got affidavits now for over 60 different witnesses for different election fraud, election irregularities, inspectors who were turned away. The second lawsuit will either be in Michigan or Georgia. So the first one's Pennsylvania. The second one is either Michigan or Georgia. We have big numbers in Michigan, not quite the numbers that we had in Pennsylvania, but enough to overturn the result there. It goes on. Hang on. Why does my thing go backwards on some and the right way on the other? We certainly will be watching. Okay, so it's telling us what the two are. Biden's lead in Arizona falls to 19,000 votes as Trump. There's the third lawsuit, Arizona. Okay, so now you got 3 lawsuits already filed today that could totally overturn this entire election. And it has only been a week. We waited over a month with Bush and Gore. I don't think that it's ridiculous to think that this could go all the way into late December, early January, honestly. Come on, let me go back. There we are. Okay. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Listen, this is where I want to talk about, guys, because this whole AOC trying to like make a list of us all and all that, that's a little crazy. Let me get to that. I think I might have put it on the others on the other page. Hold on. 7 Milwaukee precincts. So hang on. This is what's crazy. Another one that's crazy. Let me go to that one first. The 7 Milwaukee precincts one. Like, come on, Milwaukee, another covered in Democrat place. All right, where is it? It's not on here. Sidney Powell, StreamYard, 777, right there. Boom. Oh, my hand is just. There we go. Headline USA report: 7 Milwaukee precincts saw voter participation of more than 100%. Did I not just show you? What are signs and signals of voter fraud? Cha-ching. Where you see participation upwards of above 70%, guys. I just told you, in Australia, they literally have to vote. It's a legal thing they have to do, or they are fined almost $200. And they have to vote. They can vote online. They can vote in person. They can vote the same day, registration, and vote on the same day. Everything that any way possible to get that vote, they try to get them to vote. And they punish them if you don't vote. So still 5 to 10% of people still choose to take the fine rather than vote. You're telling me that this country, we saw numbers above 100%. It says the only thing we did on election night was tell them how many votes they needed on election day was tell them how many votes they needed on election night. And it's exactly it. You see it right there. Shoot, will it show it? Nope, it's not going to move over, is it? Let me see something here. Sorry, guys, hold on. I got to move it over. Oh, yeah, I did do it, didn't it? No, I didn't. All right, I see it. Okay. And then it's the one with the H right there. Right? Yeah. What the hell? There. The only thing we did on election day was tell them how many votes they needed election night. Here it is, guys. It goes on it shows you on the, like, look here. It goes on to say total presidential votes for each party so far, with 89% of the expected vote counted at 6:23 a.m. state of Wisconsin. And it goes over. You can see where really short. Look, right here, guys. They were splitting right off. What happened overnight? Right there. Right there. That is not normal. That is not normal. That's what people are talking about when they say we have evidence. It's called facts. It's right in front of our face. And that's what I hate about these liberals. You can't put anything in front of their face because they just don't believe their own eyes. And they really don't. Yes. Scott, oh yeah, our taxes are done with Joe. Our taxes are done. You know it. Why can't I see the new comments? It's so weird. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I was squint, so I have to see your comments. I'm sorry. Okay, let's get back to this here for a second. How am I doing? I'm managing this all a lot. This is a lot harder than just my phone, guys, for sure. Okay, I want to go down. Hang on. Here we go. Oops, wrong one. Come on. All right, I'm just going to go like this. It's easier. My hands are starting to go numb. Okay. Let's have a good laugh. Pick it up a little bit. You know I love my salty.
Well, I'm gonna just give me a minute.
Uh-oh, friends. Looks like we hurt somebody's feelings. She's gonna take
She's
her
gonna take her
Karl
Karl Marx textbooks and go home, everybody.
Pour
Please
one out
pour
for
one out for Alexandria
Ocasio-Cortez.
Ocasio-Cortez.
Telling
Telling everybody.
I don't even know. I don't
know
go
in politics anymore. It's like super duper means and
cereal.
All I'm trying to do
is help
is
my
help
party,
my party,
and other
people might deem to be
Read.
Bitch, please.
How
How
are you supposed to be the woman that everybody has to look up to?
We're going to start talking about her in a minute, so that's why I wanted to bring
in
this up.
America's right now, you are told that this is the strongest, most empowered colored woman of vagina power, and she is your heroine. It's her story. It's her story. She's the hero you didn't know that you needed, but you must have.
Meanwhile, criticism for her own party because her ideas and her platform are bad shit crazy, and it's causing infighting. She goes out and tells everybody, "You better leave me alone, all right? Leave me alone, or I'm gonna go home." Stand up to these people. If you're strong and you're empowered, if you know what the hell you're doing, if you've got the willpower and the character, stand up against the people who are denigrating.
Hey guys, drop in the comments if you can like my stream, because I got 1 or 2 people saying they can't like the stream. And if you can't like my stream, I want to know, so that if I want it in the comments, so that when I make a complaint to YouTube, I can say, yo, you owe me these this many likes, motherfucker.
You can't stand up to your own party? Oh, bitch, please.
Okay, so AOC is crying. She don't want to be here no more. She didn't even think she was gonna run again. She's crying like a little baby. But yet at the same time, she is started this, well, her and her little crew have started this freaking thing to basically hunt us all down and make us pay for being Trump supporters. Okay, this is that donor watch stuff, guys. Like, you can literally dox people, and she has been, like, you can click on them, you can click in and where they're getting their money from, and you can dox them and get it all. And basically what she's saying to people is, use this site to find out every single person that's donated to Trump and cut them off at the knees. You know what I mean? Basically, do not let them work for the government. Do not let them ever forget that they were traitors to basically, we're literally, she wants to put us on a list. And that's some Hitler shit, guys. Hitler did that. All right. That's not a joke. That's not me being exaggerating. That is some Hitler shit. So yeah, this is Donor Watch, but they actually have one called Trump Watch as well. So yeah, that was interesting. I thought you'd like to see that and know that your name may end up on a list somewhere. Okay. What happened? There we go. I know I'm not even all that worried about it, but at the same time, like, you can't, it's not like we just said, it's not when Trump won, we didn't say, okay, all you crazy ass Hillary supporters that literally knew what you saw in those WikiLeaks, and you still went and voted for her because you were orange man bad, and because you had to have a woman president because the vagina was more important than anything. It didn't matter that she had sold her out that vagina to every other foreign country across the globe. All right, I'm going to go through and see what I have left that's important, okay? Trump sues the 3 states laying the ground for contesting the outcome. We got that. Sidney Powell, don't forget the 450,000 ballots there. So when people ask you if you got evidence, 450,000 ballots, and then that's in Pennsylvania, and then another, I don't remember. I've got, you saw it tonight. I showed it to you. There's tons of it, tons and tons and tons of proof. And then on top of it, there, it says Trump has 50 witnesses. So this is nation and state. Hang on, let me share my screen with a nation and state. Right there. Okay. That's no glitch. It's the CIA stealing our election. Hammer and scorecard. That's the name of the CIA tool they use to to flip the votes. You have to watch this video. It's from Black Conservative Patriot. I'm not going to, it's a 40-minute video, but guys, I am telling you, when you are done watching me, here, the link is or it's just Black Conservative Patriot on YouTube, guys. That's his avatar. It's an amazing channel. Subscribe, I am. But also watch today's video. He explains exactly how Hammer's scorecard was used to basically fraction off this election and take exactly how many votes they needed from Trump to Biden. Let's see. Hey, did you guys hear about this? That's all right. There's one I don't know if we talked about. I don't know. Maybe hang on a second. Because there was, I didn't see anything about it, but at the same time, did you guys know somebody attempted assassination or planned an assassination on Joe Biden? Yeah, it's weird. Here we go. This was put out. This is what I wanted you to see. Guys, if I'm right, this is the one that has the July date. Boom, guys. When I tell you they planned on stealing this election before they ever did the war games, before they ever did anything, they had, look at PJ Media, the morning briefing. The Democrats plan on stealing the election July 29th, 2020. Is it Wednesday already? Pardon me, I left my calendar in March. I do hope the day is going well, blah, 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 blah. Flying monkeys goes on. And then it says, on the rare occasions when the idiot in the basement is let off his leash. Okay, at present, this is okay in July, guys. At present, Democrats are attempting to unseat an incumbent president by devising a plan where the candidate doesn't have to be seen in public for most of the general election campaign. Guys, this was in July. They're desperate to keep Joe Biden hidden. As many early and mail-in votes as possible are cast for him because they know that the first time he's on his own in public, he's going to pull down his mask and start sniffing strangers, all while barking, "Barack likes me." And on the rare occasion when the idiot in the basement is let off the leash by his wife and handlers, he's babbling about President Trump trying to steal the election. He keeps saying it too. Most recently, a virtual fundraiser hosted by Hillary Clinton thought would wish her to victory. Oh, by one of the celebrities Hillary Clinton thought would wish her to victory. FoxNews.com. And then it says, the president is going to try indirectly to steal the election by arguing that mail-in ballots don't work. They're not real. They're not fair. So they're already setting this narrative all up in our heads. In each one of these steal the election rants, Biden immediately rambles on about mail-in ballots. Again, all they've got, and that's all they've got, and they know it. That's where the real election stealing can happen. And it's not going to be done by the Republicans. Democrats have shown, especially in the Trump area, the most of what they throw at the Republicans is just a twisted political, psychological projection. They're doing what they are accusing us of doing. For example, take the absurd notion Dems have recycled from 2016. They're again insisting President Trump won't accept the election results, giving it a minor update saying he won't leave the White House this time. That's why I threw that funny part in the beginning. This is from the party whose vanquished alcoholic grandmother from 2016 is still going on television saying the election was stolen from her. Throwing Stacey Abrams and her ongoing psychotic break about being the real governor of Georgia, and I think we can see which side has a difficult time accepting the election results. Oh, this is great. In fact, the violence we're seeing now has more to do with hating Trump than it does with the death of George Floyd. The Democrats began their peaceful protests almost the moment Trump was elected and have been ranging back and forth between simple public incivility and violence ever since. It's been one long temper tantrum about not accepting the 2016 election results. What if we did that? What if Joe Biden steals this and that's how we act for the next 4 years? We won't be able to because we'll be locked in our house. The Democrats will try to let COVID-19 keep Biden out of sight as long as they can, but let's face it, even with the plague's help, they're going to need some kind of fraud fest to win this election. July, guys. This was in July. No one is excited about Joe Biden. It looks like he may have a difficult time pulling in the disaffected Bernie faithful who sort of thought they were owed this one after the DNC rigged it in 2016 for Granny Mo jackets. Given the Democrats' propensity for projection, all of their steal the election talk makes it seem as if they're spending a lot of time thinking about stealing an election, just putting it out there in search of an invisible Biden voter. But let's put them in charge of the election. In a shocking turn of events, the post office has failed to deliver a package on the day it was promised, and my 2-day delivery guarantee has been changed to a vague promise that it'll be here Thursday, or else I can apply for a refund on Friday. Yeah, let's put them, yeah, exactly. Oh, shit. All right, guys, that was nice. I like that. Let's see. 100 police agencies pull out of security for the DNC. That was good. I'm glad. Okay, so this was all back in July, guys. July. They knew this election was going to be stolen exactly how it was going to be stolen in July. Okay? So with all that evidence, I don't know, maybe that'll be enough for somebody that comes and watches my live tonight, that there is more than enough election fraud going around, and that we definitely have a very, very, very good case of getting many hundreds of thousands of those votes tossed out. Uh-oh, what's going on? Well, come on. What are you doing? There we go. Hang on, I got to come back over here and do it. Come on. There we go. Sorry, guys. There we go. Boom. And boom. Last but not least, there we go. And I got one more video after this, real quick. Trump's election recount demands, who pays, timeline, and more to know. So basically, this is just talks about what he's entitled to at this point, I believe. Says president, yeah, and they have no reason to complain about him contesting this vote. Hillary Clinton and what's her face, the Green Party candidate last time, they both actually did a recount, I believe, in Michigan and Wisconsin, same states. Anyway, here we go. Yeah, Biden picking Rahm Emanuel for cabinet would be very divisive. You're damn right it would. If Rahm Emanuel ends up back in that White House for any reason, it's going to be a long 4 years for Democrats. Anyway, President Trump's re-election campaign will demand a recount of votes in the pivotal state of Wisconsin after it was called for Joe Biden by only 20,000 votes, guys. That's all. That's it. Do you understand how easy it is to find those 20,000 fake? I mean, they probably were dumb enough to put 6 times that in there and make it obvious so that there's no way, that they don't even. So they not only won, but they won by this huge amount. That's what they wanted. They kept saying that. They didn't want to just win. They wanted to crush us. Ridiculous public polling used as voter suppression tactic, and they said they would immediately request a recount of votes in the Badger state. Here's what you need to know about the process. What are the state's recount laws? Every state is different, but in Wisconsin, a candidate whose totals were within 1% of the winner's votes is able to request a recount. That request needs to be submitted no later than 1 business day after the state's counties have handed in the final vote. Perhaps the most famous recount of all was the election recount in Florida between George Bush and Al Gore, which ultimately was found in George Bush's favor and by a margin of only 537 votes. With the Supreme Court ruling, the count had to stop by its stated deadline. And then it says, how much is a recall count and who pays? And it goes on. Trump campaign would have to pay for a statewide recount, which is expected to cost about $3 million. They've already begun fundraising. Yeah, I know they were getting, what's his face? Lindsey Graham donated a bunch of money to the legal fund or whatever. And then right here, Joe Stein requested a recount in Washington or Wisconsin, Michigan, all three states right now that are in question. The Green Party candidate got a recount for in 2016, guys. So did Hillary Clinton, but she did it under the guise of Joe Stein. The 3 Rust Belt states Trump swept in the election. Only Wisconsin agreed to a recount, which ended up delivering Trump another 131 votes over opponent Hillary Clinton. That was the recount then. What is the timeline of a presidential election recount? Well, no more than 13, it says in Wisconsin, no more than 13 days after ordering the recount. In places like Hawaii, that deadline is a lot swifter, with the recounts in the Aloha state needing to finish in 72 hours after the polls close. Oh, wow. So they got to get right back to it, recount right away. Okay. Oh, wow. Good. I'm so glad she did. Good. I'm glad she did. It looks like Melania. Let's see. Stay on here. Yep. Melania is also speaking, the same thing. She's sticking with what Trump said. You guys, I want you to understand that Governor Cuomo is now talking about COVID-19 mandatory vaccines, but he's also saying the ridiculous statement that he doesn't even want to talk about it until Joe Biden's in office. Okay, Pfizer's the one that made the vaccine. Pfizer and the FDA have said it is 90% effective, right? So my whole question is, what does it matter what president is in office when it's being dispersed? Isn't it already done anyway? So how is Joe Biden going to make it safer? I don't see how that's possible. I just don't. Oh, Steven Spielberg's daughter is still doing porn. I know she was doing stripping for a little bit there, but boy, she's really messed. She's like definitely showing that. Thanks for adopting me, dude. Campaign files a lawsuit against voting system in Pennsylvania, calling it two-tier. Okay. The president has invoked similar language, alleging his election to defeat Joe Biden was a result of fraud, though he hasn't claimed concrete evidence. Of course, if you can count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, then they can try to steal the election. If you count the votes that came in late, the commander-in-chief claimed during a Thursday White House briefing. Pennsylvania was called Saturday for Biden. He's claimed the title of president-elect, which is bullshit. He has no right to claim that title. The only time that someone gets president-elect is when the electors go to the Electoral College and give their votes. Then a president-elect is announced. Do you understand how unprecedented this is? That the media is the ones making the decisions about when someone is going to be called president-elect? How disrespectful this is to the president and the House right now. They would have never done this to Obama. Believe me. Never. So I want to talk about some things, okay? I believe this is a coup. I think it's a coup. And I think I have a couple of examples of a coup, and therefore, excuse me. Oh yeah, and just so you know, I'm not going to go to it because it's on here for tomorrow. Oh shoot, sorry, hold on. But the United States actually has 3.5 million more registered voters than live people. Okay, so that's how many people think about what our population is and what part of that population is under the age of 18. And then on top of that, add 3.5 million people on top of the whole total. And then you're supposed to tell me how in God's name are all those people registered to vote if maybe 45 to 50% are under the age of 18. I'm not sure what the ratio would be. So, all right. Some historical examples of a military coup. I was looking, I wanted to see if there's a Turkey area. There's the Qing Empire, 1861. Let's see, Britain's Glorious Revolution. I was hoping they had the one up. The impeachment of Fernando Lugo, president of Paraguay. The Senate removed him from office the following day, 39 votes. He had broken with Lugo. Oh, his vice president broke with him. Okay. Well, anyway, I was looking at Turkey, you guys, because Turkey was something that happened recently that we were all alive while that was going on. And therefore, a lot of us were paying attention. Some of us weren't. I was. They were trying to take out Erdogan. And so they literally got people in the military to defect. Thank God most of the military, protects them. They took over TV stations, people took to the streets, they had flags and they're waving flags, and there was coup. For like 3 days we didn't know exactly what was going on until Erdogan came out and made an announcement he was safe and the military had protected him and whatnot. There's been many coups along the way, and I believe that they've attempted at least 2, if not 3, on Trump so far. And I think most people would agree with it. But yes, there it is. Hang on. All right. Okay. This is anonymous. That's what I was trying to show you about, the anonymous website. I forgot I had this other article. Addresses. It's got Trump donors' addresses and voter intimidation campaign. And it goes on to say this website, DonaldTrump.watch, created a database of every single person who donated to the Donald Trump campaign using publicly available information provided by the FEC. The creator of the site took this information, created a data table with donor addresses, and plotted their information on an interactive map using software created by OpenStreetMap and openly available to the public. Visitors to the site can find the names and addresses of Trump donors within a search zip code, under an individual's last name, or from a number of other queries. The owners of the database have not disclosed their identities despite doxing thousands of donors. Also own the domain racist.watch. The website resolves to be DonaldTrump.watch once loaded. Wow. Very little information about the company can be found otherwise. Then it goes down here and they've got like the information. Public Service Media Group, Delaware. It was made a little more than a year and a month ago. Registered agent is LegalLink. I'm assuming LegalLink Corporate Services. That sounds like a media thing to me. So the site is purportedly operated an incorporated entity called Public Service Media Group and can be traced to another yet incomplete database at donors.watch. Donor Watch seems to be their first foray into it. That's what I showed you guys, where they had like the whole red and blue, where you could figure out like not just your Democrats or your Republicans, but Democrats too, like what they were getting donated to, how much money was being donated to them. What? Michigan AG, am I seeing stuff, guys? It says, does it say Michigan AG tells residents to stop telling poll workers to shove Sharpies up their asses? Okay, wow. Okay. I didn't expect that one, but apparently she had to make a public announcement. Antifa agitators punch, throw rocks at. Oh, yeah, I showed you guys that. That was a while ago. Never mind. Okay. So now you see, this is AOC's little thing. I know it is. It's her little squad that made that up. So, and I believe that is it, except for this. I want you to see with your own eyes what I said about the Quomster. The Quomster seems to think that the only way a vaccine will be safe is if Joe Biden's the president. I'm going to check your questions in a minute. So if you have any questions and I actually have some updates on this Kanika thing that you guys asked me for, and for the Suboxone/opiate thing that we were talking about. That's why I kind of started using StreamYard, so I could have other people on, have guests on. They want to be anonymous, they can be. They want to see if you want to show your face, you can do that as well, type thing. Cuomo says COVID-19 Pfizer vaccine, not Trump vaccine, Pfizer vaccine is bad news under Trump. Vows to block its distribution until Biden is president. So he's going to not allow people to get vaccinated with this vaccine from now until January. And if Biden becomes president, then once he's in office, Cuomo's going to Cuomo and other Democratic governors are mandatory going to distribute. My whole point is, what in the hell is going to happen in the next 2.5 months? What's Biden going to do? Is he got like a magic fairy dust or something that's going to turn the vaccine safer? Are you kidding me? The governor says Trump's distribution plan will leave people in health deserts without access to the vaccine. If you don't have a Rite Aid or Walmart or Walgreens nearby, you're in trouble. Biden will address such issues. Trump will too. He already said he would. Wow. Check it out.
of vaccine distribution in the next 2 months. What do you make of this news?
Well, it's good news, bad news, George. The good news is the Pfizer tests look good and we'll have a vaccine shortly. The bad news is that it's about 2 months before Joe Biden takes over. And that means this administration is going to be implementing a vaccine plan. The vaccine plan is very important, and it's probably the most ambitious undertaking since COVID began. Just to put it in focus, we did 120 million COVID tests in this nation over 7 months, scrambling, doing everything we can. We now have to do 330 million vaccinations, maybe twice. My state does more testing than any state in the United States. We did 12 million tests. We have to do 20 million vaccines. And the Trump administration is rolling out the vaccination plan, and I believe it's flawed. I believe it learns nothing from the past. They're basically going to have the private providers do it, and that's going to leave out all sorts of communities that were left out the first time when COVID ravaged them.
So what needs to be done that the Trump administration won't do that President-elect Biden could do?
Yeah, the Biden administration, when you deny a problem the way Trump did, you can never solve it, and that's true in life. The Trump administration denied COVID, so they were never ready for it. There was no mobilization of the government. And they're still doing the same thing. They're going to take this vaccine and they're going to go through the private mechanism, through hospitals, through drug market chains, etc. That's going to be slow, and that's going to bypass the communities that we call healthcare deserts. If you don't have a Rite Aid or a CVS, then you're in trouble. And that's what happened the first time with COVID. Why do we have such a disparity in the infection rate and mortality rate in COVID? Because some communities don't have the same access to health care. I'm sure the Biden administration is going to address that. I think his first step, saying let's focus on the science, let's depoliticize, testing data, listen to the science, is the exact opposite of Trump. But you have 2 months, and we can't let this vaccination plan go forward the way the Trump administration is designing it, because Biden can't undo it 2 months later. We'll be in the midst of it. And I've been talking to governors across the nation about that. How can we shape the Trump administration vaccine plan to fix it or stop it before it does damage?
And we're in an emergency right now. We're seeing the cases rise across.
Oh, all right. I think that's on that one. Hold on a minute. Where was I? Stop. There we go. Okay. So, really, I guess, and this was my test. I did good. I did almost 2 hours. Now that I got this, now I want to talk to you guys, not politically, it's about some serious stuff. Because there's a couple of you in here that were interested, but I also see, hang on. I also see a few of you aren't here that wanted to be a part of it. Like, I don't think Finance is here right now either, and she has most of my information. So, 2 things. All right? Now I know everybody wants me to do a Kanika thing where I do like a live question and answer. Like, we really can get into the deepness of it. I'll bring up my the metadata that I have, all the information I have. I'll slowly go through the case step by step as to where I feel it went and why I walked away, rather than just a quick video where I kind of assumed everybody who was watching the video had been watching me all along, and that you just kind of knew all the little things that I dropped in there. But so I was thinking about doing like a 4-part thing, because it's not something I can just do in one live. I won't be able to. Not as many people that would probably show up for that, because it's a Kanika thing. Secondly, I want to plan it so that we can promote it a little bit, because, honestly, if I'm going to go do it 8 hours, 4 days, 2 hours a piece, I want to get as many people in as I can. That's all. So I'm going to promote it for a couple of days first. The other thing I want to talk about is really quick is the opiate and buprenorphine or Suboxone, whatever you want to call it, talk. Apparently, I didn't realize how many people really want to hear and have this conversation. I have a personal story I could share. I've been clean 14 years, and I have very probably unexpected views on Suboxone, and I've been on it. I've been on it the entire time. So it's not like I'm just saying it from a person that judges other people. I've been on Suboxone and Subutex off and on for many years. And it's helped my sobriety greatly, but it's also caused many, many, many other things happening. So, yes, very much so. And this is not just this. You got Clarence Thomas. Joe Biden called him a racist, right? Racist or rapist? Maybe it was rape. Either way, then you got Kavanaugh, who they just destroyed. Then you've got Amy Coney Barrett, who they basically said, stole black children from Haiti and adopted them to make her white life look better. And I really don't think any of them are in the mood. Wasn't there another one too? I thought there was another thing that happened. I really did. There was something else. Either way, my point is that there's some help on the Supreme Court right now. Now, who knows if somebody told me Amy Coney Barrett, when they put her in, when the Senate put her in for Supreme Court, that when she was in her confirmation hearing, she said she would recuse or excuse herself from any election decision that may need to be made because, and I'm not sure why. Is that true, or is that just something that's going around in the rumor mill? So back to the opiate thing really quick. If anybody's interested and wants to be a part of that, my email is rolling across the bottom of the screen. Please email me because I want to put it together. I want it to be something that is not just educational, but is personal. You don't have to show your face. If you don't want to, you can remain anonymous. But I want to do, something that allows people to realize that everybody who's been an opiate addict or has one in their family feels like they're unique. They feel like they're the only person going through that situation. They feel like, oh my God, not only is it a dirty secret, but if anybody finds out, they're going to, think I'm dysfunctional or I have a dysfunctional family. We all have one. And that's what people don't understand. This epidemic has overtaken us to the point where it doesn't matter who it is. We all have somebody, whether it's ourselves or in our family, who's been affected by opiates. And some of us thought Suboxone was the answer. And some of us were very, very wrongly. Basically, all that happened was they took the money from the drug dealers and they gave it to the pharmaceutical companies, if you want my honest opinion, and told us that this miracle pill would not only keep us sober forever, but we would never have to experience that's that one thing that kept us using, and that was withdrawal. And it's a lie. It's a huge, bold-faced lie. And they knew it from the beginning, and it's taken 10 years to finally convince Suboxone doctors to be honest with patients about the extensive 30 to 18 month withdrawal that happens coming off Suboxone. So, okay. Yes, well, you're one of the ones I want to talk to, but I can't. I have my email is a terrible thing, but all right, guys. I love you for coming and supporting me. Thank you so much. I hope I did good, and you guys were so patient with me. Now I don't have to use my phone anymore, and we can actually have people come on, and we can start doing other things. So you have, like I said, you got the email. Drop it in if you want to be a part of either one. Definitely going to set up the Kanika thing for the next 7 to 10 days. And we'll promote it. That'll give us time to throw it out there on my posts or whatever. And you guys can share it. That'll, in enough of the other live streams that you guys go to, you can let people know Kate 420 is going to be doing a 4-day series on the Kanika investigation and why she got to where she got. And I'm going to be taking question and answers from the chat. Have a good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.